start in 2 minutes, so I'm just going to sit here and stare at all of you. 6 o'clock.
Do it.
Yeah, I'll be like a politician. I'll come around and touch you on the knee and say, you lost weight. No. We're in a pot roast. So a couple of rules before we get started, because most of you know me. This is my 3rd year here. I see a lot of familiar faces. If you don't know me, we're about to get really acquainted. I get asked a lot of the same questions from time to time, so just as a kind of a proviso, if you don't mind, one of the guidelines I'd ask you to follow is, if you have seen me answer the question burning inside of you to ask me today, if you've seen me answer that question elsewhere, like on a YouTube video, YouTube stalkers, you know who they are. I stalk myself on YouTube, I know how that goes. What was I wearing? Oh God, why did I wear that? And the point is, if you've seen me answer the question you want to ask somewhere else, ask another question or put a new spin on it, because I like to keep you people on your toes. You like to keep me on my toes? Well, dance, monkey dance, we can both do it. Also, requests. I'm not very good at improv, unless it's just me being me. So if you're like, hey, what would happen if Kyoya and France and Sebastian and Irvin and Isaac and Okabe and Ray and Sebastian, I already said Sebastian. Sebastian has a twin. And it's Christmas morning. And they open it up, and they've all got copies of the Attack on Titan manga. Who would get to Boston first? It's like a toss question. Those are lame. Please don't make me perform those. Also, please God, don't ask me to call your brother's cousins, sisters, uncles, roommates, mother, and propose to them in Sebastian's voice. It's not even funny. As far as I'm concerned, if you have to call them, they suck. They should be here. You get it. They don't. We'll tell them. Tell them to meet me outside, and we'll direct them to the little convention next door where they can learn all about ATM businesses. Other than that, yeah, no request or no autographs. That's not time for that. I'll do autograph signings tomorrow. I've got several. I think I've got 2 of those tomorrow or something, or not plenty of those, and I'll be wandering around too. So let's keep it just a nice Q&A. And I think. Oh yes, please don't ask me to sing. Oh no, trust me, if you heard me sing, you'd be like, oh my God. No, I don't.
Oh my God, yes.
Huh?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, yeah, no, I don't sing.
I know, but that's the best.
I don't sing for free, let me put it that way.
Okay, give me a minute,
no, I'm not. Oh God, please don't ask me to wear things. That gets weird. You do one person a favor and wear a pair of rabbit ears in a Q&A, and suddenly now every time I leave a Q&A, I'm dressed in furs and bandages, and I look like a weird homeless person. I'm like, that's fans. So none of that, please. Let's stop with the wearing of the things. Let's be civil. I will bust your balls a lot, though. I do that. Feel free to do it with me as well, because I kind of get sassy and sarcastic. It's my thing. Please don't take it personally. It's just because I love you, and that's how I express my love. And please only raise your hand when I say, okay, who's got another question? Because otherwise you'll be doing this the entire con, and I may not pick on you because a lot of you have questions, and I ramble like I've been doing for the past 5 minutes, and I won't get to your question. And please, if I don't pick you, don't feel singled out or left behind. It's not that I didn't love you. I just didn't want to answer your stupid questions. So, see, ball busting. This? Yes, awesome. So, who has got a lovely, good-looking, or insane question to start? You, in the second row, the blue hair and the glasses. I'm partial to glasses. If you're wearing glasses, today's your lucky day. Look under your chair. It's keys to a Saturn. I'm kidding. Sucker. It's a half-eaten sandwich and some gum. What's your question?
Oh, I'll get to it next time, Kato. I'm just kidding. What's some of your favorite desserts or sweet things?
Favorite desserts or sweet things? I used to have a problem with ice cream. And by problem, I mean we had an understanding. If it was round, I would eat it. And I used to do this horrible thing, those pints of Ben and Jerry's or Bluebell or whatever. You find people probably eat them with spoons. I just let them get a little melted and just crush the bottom of them and eat the top like a push pop. It's disgusting. It is what I've been informed is called ogering. friends who cared about me would be like, do that in front of a mirror. No. I realized I had a problem one day with ice cream when I had gotten myself a 2-gallon thing of like Dutch chocolate bluebell ice cream, which is very rich, very good. And I'm like, I'm not even lying to myself. I don't have a bowl. I just have the damn carton in my lap, watching Judge Judy, eating it with a cooking spoon. And it's suddenly like, nom, I'll put this up eventually, scraped, holy shit. And I'm like, you have that horrible moment where you've eaten so much of your favorite thing that you're thinking, am I gonna die? Am I gonna go to the hospital? Is there such a thing as overdosing on Dutch chocolate ice cream? Because I'm gonna be that guy that's on CNN because it's gonna be a slow news day and I'm gonna die by ice cream. And that was when I pushed it aside and said, no more, I'm getting a gym membership and lifting weights and running and all that stuff, and now I just confine my nom-noms to froyo. That's about it. I love like tiramisu. Like when I do have dessert, it's an event because I don't do it very often anymore. I try to cut out sugar. Try. Occasionally, I'm in a bulk phase now, so I can eat whatever the hell I want. It's delicious, it's wonderful. Oh my God, all of you should bulk. You're like, what's that mean? Never mind. But yeah, so I like tiramisu and like cheesecake and like really decadent artsy things. I like when they come out for them to be like architectural marvels. I like it when some chef is back there like going, oh yes, this strawberry is going to go right here. And you have to pop it with your spoon on the side and it flies up in the air. Oh my goodness, it tastes like Christmas. You know. And the kind of stuff you can never remember the name of. You just go to that one place and be like, you made me this dessert that has haunted my dreams ever since. And like, oh, we don't make it anymore. That's the kind of stuff I fall in love with. Thank you. You, darling, what the fuck?
Besides voice acting, what other hobbies do you like to do?
I write. I also write professionally. I do adaptive script writing for Funimation and a few other studios as well, which I've done for quite a few years. Most of the shows I'm in, I've also written the adaptations for. Little known fact. But I also like to write in my spare time. I write short stories and poetry, gay stuff like that. My family was not surprised when I came out of the closet. They were like, oh, you're gay, wow, big shock. I'm like, what was the giveaway? That you know what iambic pentameter is. There's 4 gay people in here. You're laughing, I'm kidding. What? There's nothing wrong with knowing iambic pentameter. Wow, nobody laughed, guys. Pay attention in English class.
I'm trying to remember how iambic pentameter works, and I feel very, very stupid.
I'll give you a quick lesson. Iambic pentameter, okay? A poetic line, every line consists of 5 feet. A foot in poetic meter is 2 syllables. And so it's like, and a foot of pentameter, it means 5 feet, right? Iambs is a foot in which the 2 syllables are arranged as follows. First syllable is stressed, second syllable is not stressed. So it's kind of like heartbeats. You have to think of each line as being ba-bum, 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 and that's every line. Shakespeare wrote an iambic pentameter, so most of his verse can be broken out. And now is the winter of our discontent. And you're like, oh, cool, there's got everything to it. It's iambic pentameter. It's hard. Now you'll know it. So if you're ever on Jeopardy and you've got that double Jeopardy question, you'll remember MichaelTatum taught you iambic pentameter. Yeah.
Because he's the best.
One weird English trivia question at a time. Let's go towards the back of the room. You with the bow, green bow on your head. I really wasn't in sports at all as a kid, but truth be told, I was in soccer for a little while and I was very bad at it. So I was like, I didn't do it very well. I was like in JV and I was the towel boy. Whatever, it was fine. It was still fun to be part of the team and stuff. I wasn't like picked on or nothing. They're like, oh, Tatum's really terrible at this, so let's just have him help out with like holding the clipboards and telling us what plays to make. But I actually was on swim team for a couple of years too, which I really liked because I really liked swimming. So that's one of the things I like about free is that my thing was actually the butterfly stroke. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I got this. I know him. Glasses, use butterfly. I got this, guys. Go home, bitches. I nailed it. That's kind of what I felt like when Ray came up. I'm like, I'll be playing that guy. Something tells me. Which is funny. Can I just say how awesome it is when they announce it? Everyone's like, shocking. Tatum's playing a slightly gay character with glasses. You're welcome. I'm very successful because anime, it just always has that trope, the very sort of sensitive glasses-wearing guy. I'm like, I got this. Every time those come down the wire, all the directors of Funimation are like, we all know Tatum's gonna play this, right? Should we even audition anybody else? I'm like, don't. Okay. But I did. I was on swim team for a little while, and I've also been working on the adaptations, the scripts for Free Eternal Summer, or In the Summer, and it's been really cool. I really like writing those characters. I think it's really fun. I love, and the cast is really great. There's such a great group of kids, great group of kids. You're gonna go places. You there in the middle.
Do you like playing Sebastian on Black Valor?
Do I like what?
Do you like being Sebastian on Black Valor?
Hate everything about it. Oh my god. That annoys me so much. It really sucks doing a voice for people that just makes them melt whatever you say. It's like a curse. You can't get any information because no matter what you're saying, all they're hearing is the accent.
Sarcasm. Sarcasm?
True story. I love playing Sebastian, of course. I mean, it was a big breakout role for me. And it was fun to get to use the British accent because I've been able to do a very passable British accent for years and years and years. And I'm like, one day I'm going to play an English character and people are going to actually think I'm British. That, for some reason, was an aspiration of mine from childhood. I learned to speak from a British lady who was my speech therapist when I was very young, very little. I had a really bad speech impediment. And so I had to go take like 5 years of speech therapy because I spoke so rarely because of the impediment. I've been making up for lost time ever since.
Me too.
But she was this adorable little British lady who spoke with received pronunciation, so I would go through these exercises and she would go through these wonderful musical things and I'd be like, oh my god, so I just know the voice because that's just what I grew up, that's how I learned to speak. So in a very real way, getting to play a British character, be it Sebastian or Sir Havelock from Borderlands 2, it's fun to do that. That accent is kind of like a thank you note or a valentine to my now long dead speech therapist from when I was a little boy, who was this 1,000-year-old British woman. Did I say she's like 1,000 years old, hewn from like soapstone. She had like a bun of hair that was like a full foot of her height. And she had these glasses and everything was the rain in Spain falls maybe the kids repeat and you'd be like the rain in Spain. It was like My Fair Lady. Kind of ridiculous. So I love playing Sebastian. That voice just does things though. I was at a convention a few years ago and it was one of those things where we were talking earlier about normal people and how depressing it is to see them in hotels. Because a hotel overrun by anime fans is so much more interesting. It's like somewhere over the rainbow, but then you're all gone after the con. If I'm still there for a day or two, say visiting friends in that city, the hotel goes from being just alive with light and color and sound and people playing weird games in the hallways, and there's always a Cards Against Humanity game going on somewhere. There's always a Duck Duck Goose game going on between the Homestuck people on this corner and this photo shoot over here. It's awesome. It's like Carnival. But then the hotel goes back to normal and you just see sad salarymen in their sagging coats hugging their briefcases closely to themselves as they walk sadly to their rooms crying. And the world just goes beige, it's like the circus has left town. There's nothing, gone are the tents and the flags and now there's just like, crumpled flyers fluttering on the breeze and the faint scent of elephant dung. And so I was at this hotel that had gone back to that horrible place we call normal and I wasn't done being on. I was still just feeling it. So I was like, I'm gonna pick on the hotel staff. Because they had turned over and it was a new staff. Like that Tuesday morning, it wasn't the people that had been on the weekend. So she had, the concierge had no idea who I was. And I'm like, victim. So I walk up and I'm like, hello darling, how are you? I'm not from around here. I wonder if you could point me in the direction of a good steakhouse or something. I understand this direction. This region is very well known for its red meat. Can you tell me? And she's like, what do you, stop. What is that coming out of your mouth? And I just like, internally, I'm like, got her. So I'm like, oh, well, so sorry. Should I slow down? The accent does trouble some people. I do apologize. I'm being very British about it. No, I'm so sorry, so very sorry. And she's like, no, what I say? Deborah, come here, Deborah. Comes over, say something. I'm like, hello, Deborah, how are you? Lovely, Deborah. Says Deborah. See, if you were my boyfriend and you talk like that to anybody else, I would kick your ass. One of my favorite Sebastian stories to tell. Dandy, yes. You have a dandy question. Awesome.
How do you feel personally with being very
Okay, anyone here seen Space Dandy?
Yeah.
Well, I know, I just want to make sure. Okay, has anyone here not seen it? Okay, those of you gonna see it, I'm about to spoil something for you, so you may want to put your hands on your ears for a second, although they don't want some spoilers.
I'm okay with spoilers.
So your question was, how do I feel about Beast's betrayal? Fuck that guy! Oh my god! When I was in the booth for that, I'm sitting there, and Zach Bolton, who was like one of the show's directors and the line producer, like he and Joel were like the directors of the show, and they were telling me weeks in advance, oh my god, you have no idea where this is going, oh my god. I'm like, and the show was so crazy and zany, I'm like, what's gonna happen? Oh my god, I can't wait. And then I'm in the booth, and I'm recording the scene for the first time, and I'm seeing it, and then it happens, it turns around, and suddenly you hear the gunshot, and I'm like, and I had a reaction that was not videotaped. They should have, really, because Zach later told me, he was like, you became very ape-like in the booth. I was like, no! He was like, oh my god, oh my god. The best part is, Micah had not recorded that scene yet. I walked down the hallway a couple days later, recording something else, and I see Micah there. I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, Ted. I'm like, fuck you! He's like, what? Just get away from me! I trusted you! I carried you! How you paying me?
Oh my
Die in
god!
a fire, Micah! I had no idea. So then like a couple days later, he goes in to record and it comes out and he's like, I am so sorry. I really am very sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. And he's like, bitch. I would have actually said bitch, he doesn't curse. But if he did, thank you. Danny, oh my god, Danny is so amazing. Quick story about Danny. As I was at a convention the night that episode premiered, so I was like, oh my god, yeah, I'm gonna watch it on Cartoon Network tonight. And I was at an autograph, it's a big convention, so I hadn't met all the other guests yet, because we were all on our own kind of tight little schedules. And I'm sitting at this autograph table having a dandy old time. Haha, dandy's good. And then suddenly next to me comes this guy dressed up like Dandy. I mean, to the hilt. I mean, got the hair, got the shoes, pro cosplayer. And he comes up to me and he's like talking in broken English, and it becomes very evident to me after a moment that, holy shit, this is Dandy's Seiyu. And so I'm like, watashi wa nihongo ga skoshi wakarimasu de, Matsuri jarimasu. And he's like, what? So then we have this conversation, I'm like, oh my god, it's a real guy. And so of course I took a picture of it and like posted it and sent it to Ian, who was at home having a Dandy watching party. And I was like, look Dandy, I really got you. And he was like, oh, we had a fan moment. So I'm gonna go with you, darling, in front of me.
Before you started doing Creed, when you watched it, did you watch it before it?
Did I? Oh yeah. And because I worked on it as an adaptive writer too, I had to watch the whole thing to get a feel for where I would go with the adaptation. So.
And besides Ray, who were you connected to? Like who?
The Whale. I really like the Whale. He's just so at home in the water. No, I'm kidding. Who was I most connected with? It's funny. As a writer, I get kind of connected to all of them because as an adaptive writer, I have to find a voice for all of them in my head. And because as a writer, as an adaptive writer too, what's kind of cool about it is my only focus is character. I don't get to write the plot. The plot's not my area. That's already in place. So I have this wonderful structure to work with that I then get to paint. It's like having a house and getting to fill it with your furniture and your accent walls and stuff like that. So what I get to focus on to give it a home in English is to focus on the characters and their own relationship to each other, to themselves, but specifically to their relationship to language and how they use words to express themselves and when do they say what they mean and not what they say. And I love that. So I really get into all their heads and find myself really relating to all of them. And it's a credit to the show itself, just how good it is, that it's a very real, as cute and funny and as over the top it can get. It's very real and very true to what life is like when you're that age and in high school and you're part of this team. And so I loved it. I really loved the dynamic. So I couldn't really tell you which one I related to more. I thought they're all so well represented within that universe that it's really, really cool. I do like the coach. Their coach is really cool. I like his style. His hair is amazing. But I think I really relate to all of them. And as an actor, you know, I relate to, you know, to all of them as well. But when I was given Ray, I was like, yeah, it's Ray. True story. Now, I don't want to spoil it for any of you who've not seen it yet, but I imagine some of you have seen the Japanese already. There's the scene, the episode, The Cry, The Good Cry. We all know what I'm talking about, The Cry? Oh my God, I'm in my hotel room writing this scene, watching the Japanese, and I'm like, damn it, this shoot just got to me. So I'm looking forward to and dreading recording that scene because that's a very real moment where it just you're like, oh, the feels now they're it's when characters cry very realistically like that, it just does something to me. It just makes me go, and I forget how to act, and it just becomes so real that it's just me crying in the booth. And Jerry, the show's director, will be like, you are such a wuss, look at you, you're a mess. Oh my God, go have a drink or something, Tatum. Jesus. But that, yeah, so all of them really. Yes, Grell, darling. I'm gonna regret every second of this. You look fantabulous, by the way.
My question is rather...
Because I love him, that's why. I'm kidding, go on. Grell's so flustered. Oh, it's a cabaret show. Will there be, oh, goodness me, wait, okay, the whole team, so you'll be there, and you'll be there, and you'll be there, and you'll be there. What about you, cutie, sitting down? Stand up for us, will you be there? Will you be there? Awesome, I'll come. I may not be there right at 11 o'clock, but I'll try to pop in and make an experience, make a little appearance. Oh, she's coming up. Hello, darling. Sebastian loves him some Grell, so. That's right. I once said long ago, if they ever made a season 3, I would totally give Grell, like a Grell cosplayer, a face hug. I'm so screwed now. Thank you. If I don't show up, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm going out tonight to like the Disney arcade thing, so we'll be back.
Disney Quest.
Maybe.
Thank
We're going
you.
to an ice cream shop. Let's see. You, yes, you had the badass costume on the other day. You're like, you finally took it off, because you're like, the hell with this, it's hot. I'm glad you're still with us.
I'm ghost now. See, that's why
I'm being haunted by a ghost. It's like a Christmas carol. You should be visited by 3 spirits.
First off, thank you for coming here. Second off, can I please hear you say do Scars line that you did yesterday?
Oh, Scars line? Okay, can I frame it with a little story? Okay, because the truth is, so Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood comes down the wire several years ago now. Now understand that when I'm a huge fan of the first anime, which wrapped before I got into the industry, so I didn't get to be part of it, much to my chagrin. Though I was, right as I was first becoming a voice actor for Funimation, I got to be like Soldier A in Conqueror of Shambhala. So I was literally the guy that's like, freeze! And I come home and I'm like, I got to be it! 6 years later or so, and Mike McFarlane by that time is a dear friend, whom I got into a lot of trouble with over the years. And he was talking to me, he's like, so, Brotherhood's coming on the wire, and Damien Clark can't, he's got too many commitments, he can't reprise his role as Scar. But the thing is, it's not like a sequel, it's a retelling, and it's going to be close to the manga, so we have some room to make Scar different, while kind of also paying tribute to Damien's interpretation and to the original Seiyu's interpretation of the role, which I love that kind of stuff. I'm a theater guy. I come from the theater where you always get to take up the mantle of a character that 500,000 other actors have played in the course of history. So you get to feel like you're part of a continuum of people that have all touched this role in some way. And I love that. It makes you feel like you're part of a family of people, many of whom you never meet in person. So Mike says, would you like to play Scar? And I'm like, So, yeah, it's a fangasm. So, true story, I get in the booth and my first line is the one I'm about to do. And somewhere, I'm so giddy, my toes just curled up in my shoes and I'm just trembling. And Mike's a hard ass. He's a dear friend, he's a great director, but when he's in the booth, he is a hard ass because he wants to reflect what he wants from you as a performer. So Scar is not the kind of guy that pets baby bunnies. You know, he's intense, everything is like this. And so Mike is like, all right, let's do this, go in here. Like, he's very military about it for that particular role. And I've worked with Mike hundreds of times now, it seems, and he's different every time. His approach is always a little different. And so Scar was really intense. So you have to imagine me in the booth with the mic in front of me. And here's my first Scar scene. He comes up and he's like killing things and got the, face explode thing going on. And so somewhere in Funimation is saved a recording of my very first experience in the booth as Scar, which sounds like this. Foolish alchemists who turn their backs on the ways of God shall be punished. Followed by... And Mike was like, what the hell was that last part? Nothing, let's just keep recording. I'll kill you. It was ridiculous. You think Mike was over me jingling keys or something? So, thank you. It would make, not from my phone. How embarrassing. Oh, excuse me, I made my own ringtone.
So, as an ADR scriptwriter, have you ever been criticized for your work? And if so, how do you...
No, what are you talking about? Everyone loves me. Fans are the most forgiving people in the world. If you make a mistake or you interpret a line, you interpolate a little word into a line that they know that wasn't there in the Japanese, they're like, oh, cool, awesome, I'm good. Yes, oh my God, are you kidding me? Sometimes, I mean, it depends. A lot of people, that's kind of the fun of it, because as an adaptive writer, work really quick at the last minute, and he'd be like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome, great, yeah, I'll totally do that. Awesome, thank you. Just sarcasm is not built into their relationship to language, whereas sarcasm seems to be like the basis of ours. So English is just different, and so bringing something into English, giving it a home in English, you have to work with the subtext that's there in the line, because there's some of the things, the feelings, the emotions, the meaning behind the words, whatever's said, that transcend language. So it's cool because at first, getting back to what I said, what's really challenging about it is getting to play a character or write a character that the audience you're trying to write for or perform for already has a very profound relationship with. They've had time with this character, often quite a bit of time that you haven't had yet. And so no matter what you do or what artistic choices you make as an actor or a writer, somebody out there is going to see you as a home wrecker. You're coming in, you're ruining it, you're ruining the Japanese. So I, as a writer, one of the things I found that people are particularly sensitive to in a good way is I will write the adaptation in a way that I like it to be watched alongside the Japanese, because I kind of to write it if I can. It's very, very tricky, but if I can, I like the audience to be able to put the Japanese version and the English version side by side and read it and find a very different story kind of secreted in the middle between the two spheres, which is interesting to me because as I said earlier, one of the best things about getting to do this as an actor, as a writer, is because you get to play with language and how people relate to language. And the really ironic thing about language, especially if you speak English, because it's kind of built into our language, is that we almost never entirely say what we mean or mean what we say. We often use words to evade direct communication. And that's where dramatic tension comes from, because you as an audience know they're feeling something, but what they're expressing, there's this discordance between it. They really want to say, I love you, but they can't. They say, I hate your face, and you know that's not what they really mean. And so you relate to that, because we've all been there. So I find at first, many times fans will watch the dub. and be very resistant to it because it's new. And let's face it, we're all fans of stuff that we hate at first. Like, because we are fans, we're like, oh, you're gonna screw it up. Like, every time they get a new Doctor on Doctor Who, you're like, oh, the guy, you're gonna suck, I know, you're gonna suck. Because you're not Matt Smith, you're not David Tennant. But then you're like, okay, you're all right, you're fine. We're all like cats when you move your furniture around. In the first couple of weeks, your cat's like, why did you do this? Pissing everywhere now. I don't like this. And then 2 weeks later, you get your freaking cat off the couch. You're like, I love it here, this is so amazing. That's mostly the experience most fans have. They will watch the English version, and once they've made it through and they realize that, you know, I feel that fans are very sensitive to how devoted we are to what we do. And I think they can see it, as long as they feel, you all feel, that we are being true to our own sense of fandom to the show. You eventually give in and go, all right, you can come into this party, which is wonderful because it's really hard to please you guys. So when we get it right, oh my God, we feel like total ballers. I mean, you really do, because you guys are tough and discerning and you let nothing slide. You're like, oh, no, that's not exactly how they did in the Japanese, and here they're too earnest, and here they're too sarcastic, and I'm like, if someone comes up to you and goes like, actually, I can see how difficult that was to bring to English, and you did a great job. Oh my God, thank you. I now have watched it both times, and it's a completely awesome, genuine experience both times around. Thank you for giving me my favorite show twice. And I'm like, and I'm like, so it's really cool. I love it. And again, coming from a stage background, I think prepared me for it, because as I said, you know, as a stage actor, you very rarely get to originate a role. You're usually just touching a role that many, many, many other people have played, and you're doing it for an audience who's very familiar with the material. So, you know, it's kind of what we do, and I love it. It's part of the challenge. Let's see, this side of the room, you darling, right there with the tie and the glasses.
In Dragon Ball Z, what was it like voicing, like, I think 7 characters or something?
Oh, and me in Dragon Ball Z? I didn't do Dragon Ball. I was Dragon Ball Z Kai. I was Zarbon.
Yeah.
And like a couple other extras or something like that. But yeah, you may be thinking of Chris Sabat. Oh, that would be awesome. I'm totally Chris Sabat. I'm like, it was me all along. I would have got away with it too, but I met your damn kids.
Seeing your name in the credits list like 8 times or something, I don't know if I was watching the original or Kai.
I don't know. I wasn't in the original because that was like 15 years ago, and I wasn't a voice actor for Funny yet, so I didn't get to be on the original. But there was like Dragon Ball Z. Kai was the latest stuff that they kind of revamped and like added some more animation to. I got to work on as an adaptive writer, and I got to play Zarbon in that, along with a bunch of other like little guys over the course. So I have been a lot of people in Kai. In that version, in the stuff that's been coming out in the past like 5 years, but nothing in the old days, unfortunately. Because those were all just Chris Sabat and Sean Schimmel and Sonny Street. All of them, even the girls. No. You in the very, very back, sir, with the tie and the jacket.
Before you were a voice actor?
It's all a haze, I don't know. I'll tell the story of how I became a voice actor, actually, because it's kind of interesting, and it makes you all stop asking me how to become them, because you see how disqualified I am to actually give you advice on how to become a voice actor. Because what I did for a living, I was an actor when I was very little. And I grew up on the stage, and, well, not literally, but I mean, I did a lot of stage work when I was young, and I loved it, and I was very musical as well. I played piano, and went to conservatory, and dropped out. So I kind of had this choice to make when I was in high school, that dreadful time in life, when everyone's like, what are you going to do? Where it feels like in high school, am I wrong, where it feels like for like you have a year to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And like no pressure or anything, right? And like, my God, I don't know myself yet, stop asking me. Maybe I want to be an astronaut, maybe I want to man a lighthouse, screw you. You know, I mean, so I had come to this crossroads where I decided, did I want to pursue acting professionally because I had enjoyed it so much growing up, or did I want to pursue something that was maybe a little smarter, a little more financially sound, and took a little less courage and insanity than acting? Because it takes a lot of courage and a great deal of craziness to want to be an actor professionally, because it's a weird and very uncertain business. So I, not being a very courageous person, decided against it, and I didn't pursue acting. And so for 10 years, I actually had a whole other career. I worked as an advertiser. I was in marketing. for a little firm in Dallas, and I hated it. I mean, I worked with really good people, and the people were really sweet, but I just was not a good fit. I wasn't very good at my job. I hadn't found my context yet. I was just dedicated to this idea of, well, it's a good paying job and I'm an adult, and being an adult means I have to be miserable and pay my bills. So yay, adulthood. And this was my life for like a decade. And then, I was still, I was a big nerd still in life. I watched Doctor Who and read comic books and follow anime, but I had I didn't think of myself as an actor. Nothing, I just was a guy. I was a nerd, I was just like, everybody, I guess. And I knew Christopher Bevins, this guy named Christopher Bevins, who is a director for Funimation and writer and a sometime actor who's been with him for many, many years. And I knew him, we were sort of fellow comic book nerds together that would fight. Many a night would he sleep on my couch with my cat on his face after an argument about who would win in a fight, Batman or Iron Man. And, and he just, I'd known him for several years, and I thought what he did was really cool because he was director for Funimation, the Dragon Ball folks, and I was like, oh, it's really cool, but I never, ever, cornered him was like, how would I become a voice actor? Because I didn't think of myself. I never dreamed of doing what I'm doing now.
When it was different.
And so Bevins, though, just got to know me and called me up out of the blue one day, literally, just out of nowhere, and said, hey, so I'm working on this show called Samurai 7. And, it's a good show. It's based on a film by Akira Kurosawa. And I'm like, oh yeah, say no more. I know the film. Seven Samurai is one of my all-time favorites. I freaking love that show. I like to watch it once a year. He's like, awesome. I'd like you to come and audition for the part of Rikichi. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Wow, no. Because the idea terrified me. First of all, I hadn't acted in almost a decade. Secondly, I had no mic technique. All my experience was stage. So I tried to tell him, you're really cool to ask me, and you're really sweet, but I don't think I have the chops, and I think it would just be a waste of your time. So thank you, but no thank you. So I hung up the phone and thought, oh man, that would be cool, but nah. Next day, he calls me up. Hey Tatum, hey Bevins. So I'm working on this show called Samurai 7. And proceeds to act as though we hadn't had yesterday's conversation. And I'm having this weird, It's a Wonderful Life moment where I'm like, is this what's going on? And I say no. And this is the pattern of our exchanges for 2 weeks. Every day, calling me, hey, so do you want to come on audition? Oh, I can't, I couldn't possibly. I have to strain cabbage tonight, or I have a flat tire. and it's because I was terrified, but Bevins is not the kind of guy I was to learn to take no for an answer. So what started as him being the nicest, hey, do you want to come and audition? I'd love for you to come in. I mean, I know you don't think you'd be good, but I think I could work with you. It's wonderful. Slowly became, if you don't come and audition, I'm going to break your goddamn kneecaps. So, and he made up some egregious lie about, look, you're not gonna get the part. The truth is, I just need to get some new blood in there to lay down an audition track because my line producer's breathing down my neck about me using the same people. So it's actually better if you suck. I can be like, look, this is why I don't go with new people. So just come in, do a guy a favor. It'll be 3-4 hours of your life and you'll get on with it. If you suck, we'll laugh and never speak of it again. Just show up, for God's sakes. So I did, under protest, show up on a Sunday afternoon, a sunny, bright Sunday afternoon, August 8th, 2005. And in the booth I go, and Bevins is no longer the Bevins I know, the nice, sweet, cuddly Bevins who would fall asleep on my couch with my cat on his face. And now the Bevins who's become Stanley Kubrick. It's all right, get in the booth, do this. No, one more time, wrong emphasis. You're gonna throw out your voice. Stop doing that. No, scream, now cry. Now do it. I'm like, it was absolute boot camp. And mind you, a dubbed script is a very different animal than a playbook or a screenplay. There's just different jargon on it. There's different places you have to look. You have to be aware of time code. You have to be aware of the animation movements of the mouth we call flaps. And I had to control my emotions because Rikichi is a very dramatic character. He's very emotional. He's very vulnerable. And I'm like, oh my God, this is good. Bevins is yelling at me. I'm sweating like a whore in church in the booth because it's out. And this goes on for 4 freaking hours because on stage or most other kind of audition, you got 2 minutes to get up there, do your monologue, and then out comes the shepherd hook, and you never hear from these people again. 4 hours of this, and so when it's done, Bevins finally says, "All right, out of the box, monkey." Sign these papers, and I start signing them, which I foolishly thought were NDAs. My first mistake, I didn't read them very closely. And as I'm signing them, I said something glib to the effect of, how the hell do you people at Funimation get anything done if it takes you 4 hours to audition every single part? And he's like, actually, it didn't. It took us about 5 minutes, and we've just recorded the first 6 episodes, and you just signed a contract, so screw you, you're an actor. And that is how I became an actor. So follow my path, all of you, please. Just waste your life for 28 years and then refuse your chance until someone finally goes, no, you're getting in there if I have to kill you. You, darling, in the front row.
Who did you like better, Tomoe or Sebastian? And I was wondering.
I don't think I could pick between the two of them. You were, sorry, I don't.
And I was wondering if you could do like 2 lines for each one.
2 lines from each one. Yes. One is just Sebastian without the accent. I feel like the two of them would have a lot to say to each other. They both have like, I'm like, oh my God, do you believe this brat? Oh my God, do you believe this brat? She can't make up her mind. He can't make up his mind. Oh my God. I feel like Sebastian would be like, yes, my lord. And Tomoe would be like, oh my God, will you leave me alone? Be a deity already and grow up. Let's see, toward the, you have a little sleeve thing on in the blue. Yes, you darling, the powder blue sleeve. Do I have a favorite experience from being Kyoya? Oh man, there are a lot of great moments in the booth for that show, primarily because Caitlin Glass, who also plays Haruhi, was the show's dub director, and it was just understood, and it to this day is understood. Caitlin Glass is a dear friend of mine, and we all understood that like Ouran was just her, like that was her passion, her life. To this day, if you stand in front of a mirror after midnight and say Ouran 3 times, Caitlin will appear and give you a pot of instant coffee. I mean, but she loved it, and she particularly loved the character of Kyoya. So getting to direct him was just really, she would fine tune it, and just really, she brought her all into both the role of Haruhi, which was just a joy to listen to, but also as a director, because she really just play you like an instrument, and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this here, and it was just fun. It was a very organic experience. One of my best memories of it, I could draw from literally hundreds of them from working on that show for the 8 months that we did, but one of my best experiences was toward the end, the second to last episode, and then Kyoya met him, which was the flashback episode where we get to see Tamaki and Kyoya meet. There's the scene where they're sitting on the couch together, and their relations are strained because Kyoya is sick of this crazy blonde guy. He keeps yammering on about, oh, I may be an astronaut, or I may, open an animal kingdom in the north, and he's just over there going. And you see that rarest of rare moments where Kyoya loses his cool so much that he flips a table. He literally flips a table. And we see like the coffee and the sugar and everything. And then he's straddling Tamaki and he's got him by the scruff going, who the hell are you? What is wrong with you? Da, 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 da. And it was just such a genuine and real moment for me. Caitlin recalls it, me getting so into it that I was imitating Kyoya's gestures, and while I was doing the line, like, who the hell are you? Because for me, there's a lot of very complicated things going on in Kyoya's mind at that moment. Tamaki represents a side of himself he's not made peace with yet, and that is why he's such a frustrating character, such a disruptive presence in Kyoya's life, and that he cannot get his head around, and that's why he's so frustrated, because he's like, you're the gadfly, you're the moth in my head, why the hell are you? What are you doing? And so it's just this really intense, very genuine moment of growth in Kyoya's life, where in that very short span of time, Tamaki, this whirlwind, this whirling dervish of crazy, has just touched a life, and in that brief moment suddenly brought Kyoya more into himself. And it's such a beautiful moment, especially when it's followed up by the shot of him painting outside the frame, that gigantic, beautiful rose. When I was done with that monologue, I turned and looked, and Caitlin had a tear running down her face. Aww. And I had snot and tears running all down my face. And we were like, and then she's like, what? Okay, and then we watched it, a replay just to make sure everything fit perfectly, and she liked the reeds, which she, did, she typically did. And then we see the shot of the rose, the multicolored rose being painted like gargantuan outside of the frame, and we're like, favorite moment in QoS in recording that. Let's see, this side of the room, yes, you with the blonde wig over there. There's a lot of characters I'd want to hang out with whom I've recorded. A few that I'd never want to hang out with. A few that I'd want to give my hotel room key to. But I think the most fun of all the characters I've played, the most fun person to hang out with would be Isaac and Miria from Borderlands. Yes! I mean, those people know how to have fun. I mean, how much fun must you be having in life for 80 years to have passed before you realize you haven't aged? Seriously, they're hippies in the 90s where they go, oh my God, we're immortal, holy crap! You know, like I want that problem. I want both the immortality and the having so much fun you don't realize you're immortal, but thank you. So yeah, Isaac and Miria, who I feel are like idiot Time Lords. You, sir, with the black coat.
Thank you. Yes, I did all through middle through high school. I did stage, I did acting, I was in musicals.
I'm sorry. It's a hard life.
It's a lot of work, and I enjoyed it. And I went to a community theater, and I did it for years. And I'm just wondering, like, how hard of a transition is it, or how easy of a transition is it to go from the stage and then from that mindset into voice acting? You're not having to wear costumes at all anymore.
Yeah, it's. Figure out this damn water bottle while I have problems with water bottles. That's a really good question. Having been director for a couple of years for Funimation too, I worked with, especially on the show Romeo and Juliet, the anime version, which was really good. I got to work on Bernard Bruce Elliott as a director, and it was really fun. But we brought in a lot of stage actors, accomplished stage actors who've been pro in the Dallas area, which is a thriving theater community for years. And they came in, and you know, as good as they were on stage, they shockingly had trouble making the transition to performing in the tiny little booth on a microphone for an audience of two, the engineer and the director. And it was really actually a lot of stage actors had trouble making that transition. And it takes, because doing voice work in general it's all part of the same bag of tricks, really, but there's a few skills, there's actually a whole other skill set needed to do dubs, because you're having to match somebody else's timing. Prelay, which is what's called, we call prelay when you record, like, basically you had storyboards to work with, but the animators then animate to your performance in the booth. Dubbing is very different. The material is there, the animation is there, you can't change anything, and you have to do with what's there. So it restricts your performance a great deal. And a lot of actors don't do well when they first come from the freedom of the stage, where you first of all, you have time to rehearse, weeks of rehearsals. Everything is organic, and then you're doing these scenes out in real time with the people on stage, whereas, it's in complete isolation, by yourself. You're off. If you're the first person to record, there's no one else. You're just by yourself, and you have to pretend. I mean, it's acting, so that's what you can do. But it's a different experience for a lot of actors that have done other media, because it is so solitary and so restricting. I personally love it. Having done both prelay and dubbing, I find that something about the animation style and the movements of the character actually inform my performance, so I do better, I feel, than when I'm given the freedom. When I recorded Hammerlock, for example, in Borderlands 2, there were no animatics, there were no storyboards, they just had the lines, which were freaking brilliant. Anthony was just an amazing writer. And I had the look of the character, which changed considerably over time. Like, oh, he started looking like this. And I found I'd go in and I find that as an actor, if I have more options available to me in terms of how I deliver a particular line, that I am more likely to make a bad choice. Whereas if my choices are kind of shaved down to just a few, in the case of dubbing something that's already animated, the animation, the music, what's already there kind of informs my performance, so I tend to be steered more correctly, and I think I give a more genuine performance. But that's just me, that's weird, but the transition is hard, and you need time. A lot of actors who are really wonderful on stage, don't do so well with the intimacy of the mic, because you cannot project in front of a mic like this the way you would on stage, because it's too overblown and too hammy. So you have to learn to be more intimate. It's much more akin to acting for camera and for film. But the transition can be made. I mean, like I said, you just as an actor, as an artist, period, you want to grow. You always want to add to your skill set. And so, being able, most of us started out as theater people or actors on other sides, and we just had to, and we found that's I'm good here, other people are good here. So the transition is hard, but it can be done. We all do it. So yeah. So hopefully you'll get the chance one day. You in the very, very back, who's like flapping your arms, and every time I say hammerlock, you're like, yes! Can I do a hammerlock line? Bonafide. True story, I had to go through customs in Canada a couple of years ago to go to a convention. And so I go through and, you ride on your little car, what are you here for, what are you doing, yada, yada, yada. And I go to the customs agent, who's a young guy with a beard, he looks like a gamer. And he's like, what are you here for? And he sees that I put down voice actor, writer, his profession, and he's like, what, and you done anything I would know? And I'm like, are you a gamer? He's like, yeah, I'm all into that stuff. I'm like, do you know Borderlands 2, which was kind of recently out at the time? And he goes, yeah, oh my God, I love Borderlands 2. Oh my God, what are you in that? And I'm sure in his mind he's thinking, oh, you're like, Soldier A or something. And I'm like, I'm Sir Hammerlock. And he's like, looking at my passport and the little slip, and he's got the stamp in one hand, the stamp of approval, and my passport in the other, and just kind of hovering, and he's like, do the voice. And so here I am in this huge room filled with people that just want to get their customs, like a bunch of strangers, and I have to be like, hello, Walt Hunter, things need to be shortened by jovial, I want to shoot them, and he's like, that's awesome, man. Oh my God. Can I get a picture of you real quick? He takes out his phone and gets a selfie in the customs booth. And I'm like, this is the weirdest friggin' job ever. So it's Hammerlock and boner farts got me into Canada. You, darling, and sitting there flapping away with the glasses and the wig. Yes, you.
When you're playing France and Hetalia,
Can you speak up just a little bit?
when you're playing France and Hetalia, who's your favorite character out of all of them?
France. France. Well, besides France, none of them. They're all dicks. I'm kidding. I love Canada. No, I don't. No, I really love everybody. I'm particularly fond of Patrick Stuyvesant's performance as Germany because I think it's comedy gold.
Yes.
Todd is flawless as Todd always is. Eric Vale was born to play America. I mean, that's just him. It's not really acting. It's just Eric. Everyone is so freaking good in that show, but I think all the performances in it that really get to me, it's Ian Sinclair's Romano. Kills me every time he opens his mouth. I'm like, ah! Oh my God! Ian is one of my best friends, and every time I see him from in a bad mood, I'll call him up. Ian, do a Romano line. I need to laugh, and he'll do it. And I'm like, thank you. You, sir, with the Punisher shirt on, and like,
Yes.
red beard.
Thank you. Are you a seasonal anime watcher? Have you watched anime?
Yes and no. It's hard to watch anime when you're steeped in it professionally. You come home and you're like, I just want to watch something with real people in it. Even if it sucks, I don't care. Just show me an episode of this. I mean, I try to, nowadays, I was a feverish anime watcher in my youth because it was my thing. I loved it. I grew up on like Voltron and Star Blazers and Robotech, and then later Cowboy Bebop and Trigun and all that amazing stuff, right? When it was coming over here, and I was like, oh my God, yes. Now, I don't like watching it because as an actor, I'm terrified I'm gonna jinx my chances of getting a role. I don't wanna watch something and fall in love with it only to be like, I'm never gonna get to play that. Like with Kyoya, for example, I got to work on the show as a time coder, helping Monica Real as an adaptive writer. Monica Real, who's like the most cast female in the industry, also a fabulous writer herself, was my first writer to work under, and she was working on Ouran at the time, and I was working with her, like doing time. It was a very technical, boring thing but whatever. It was a good way to get my foot in the door to write. And I hadn't ever seen Ouran before. I had no idea, no notion, nothing. And my first episode was episode 8, the Beach House episode, also known as the Let Me Teach You a Lesson with My Shirt Off episode. And I fell in love with it because I thought the first half of that show is like just so ridiculous and zany, and all these characters are ridiculous. I'm like, oh my God, these are the people I ran with in high school. Oh my God, I know these guys. Oh my God. And then Kyoya does his thing and pops up and is kind of, the cool, suave one who's kind of the dark horse, and then there's that really severe moment where you suddenly find yourself feeling things about him you ought not to feel. Because you're like, okay, he's just doing this incredibly kind of misogynistic thing, but is it to prove a point, or is it because he's trying to figure himself out? And there's so much, and he sucked me in. I got him, I'm like, I know this guy. I feel like I could portray him, and I get him. I think I know what's going on in his head. And so, normally when I go into audition for roles, I don't have much of a concept of who they are until I go in and look at the audition sides right before I go in and be like, hey, MichaelTatum reading for Ray, or reading for this. But Kyoya, I had a background with, like by several months, because those scripts were done well in advance of the recording process. And I had all that time to be in love with Kyoya and lie awake at night going, I really want to play him, I really want to play him. If I don't get to play him, I'm going to be a broken man. So I've never, luckily I did get to play Kyoya, but if I hadn't, my God, how heartbroken would I have been. So I try to steer clear of the new stuff that's out there, because as an actor, I just want to be blissfully unaware until I get the role. And then I become obsessed with that show, and I will watch it, and I will read the manga, and I will do everything in my power to just be steeped in it, because I love talking about it and being in it, but not until I get cast. Isn't that a terribly arrogant thing? I won't have anything to do with an anime unless I'm It's just because I'm neurotic and I don't want to love it, because I know if I don't get the chance to be in it, I'm going to be like, sorry.
That sounds like when you go to the pet store and you're going to get a puppy.
It sounds like me eating ice cream by the pint. If I can't eat it with a cooking spoon, it's not worth my time. I've got about 5 more minutes left, so why don't we do a lightning round? This is where I'm going to try to not ramble, but you have to ask me a quick question. So your hand is flapping, you go, lightning round, boom, go.
Okay, how does it feel voicing Tomoe in Kami-sama Kiss?
Amazing, he's hot, I love him with long hair. This sparkling thing on.
Have you ever got a really weird gift from a fan?
Yeah, it was a jar with a tail in it. I'm kidding. No, I got cookies with my face on them. Also, can I just make a public service announcement? Many of you are wonderful artists, and I encourage you to pursue your craft and your trade. It's awesome. I love getting drawings of characters and stuff like that. Please don't draw pictures of me. It's weird. If I hung up all the pictures of me I have been given, I would look like a rapper. And over here was this wonderful oil painting of me, like, no one would want to stay in my house. They'd be like, Tatum is self-obsessed. So please, no more pictures of me. Paint other pictures of other beautiful. Give me pictures of yourself. That's awesome. I hang that up. But I don't want to look at my ugly mug all day. I have the face of a chess master. You at the very end there.
Will you accept my candy canes?
Can you throw it? You can. I believe in you. Throw it. Throw it. Come on. Give your best arm. Look, you're gonna kill me. Yes.
Can you say some of your lines from your episode of Candy and Stocking?
Yes, that's why I got hired.
Oh God.
I can't remember them. I'll get back to you on that one. You, sir, the yellow shirt, the black hoodie.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon? Darkrai's, because they kicked Ash's ass.
Yes.
You, the red, and the thing, and the thing, and the...
50% off question mark.
50% off question mark? What did I just agree to? What happened? What have you done to me?
It's a parody of Free. It's, yeah.
Oh, parody free. Is Ray gay in it? Shocking. You, blue hair in the center there.
You said you grew up in the theater. What was your first role in your first show?
I played the hobby horse in The Velveteen Rabbit. Because I was the tallest kid in the group. You doing this with your hand with the hoodie on.
I actually have a request for you. Usually that mail.
I have to run away after the panel. Can it wait for maybe another time? Well, what is the request?
It was actually because my sister-in-law, and two of my best friends were not able to come. I was wondering if you could enjoy the voice and just say, hi everybody, and I wish you were here.
Hi, everybody. I wish you were here. Sucks to be you! Ha!
If you've ever played Cards Against Humanity, doing all the voices that you've done.
No, I shall have to try that. It is you, tall drink of water with the red shirt and the hat.
You said you don't get into an anime unless you cast. Are there any future anime that you've just been cast for that you're getting into?
Can't say
No.
no.
I'd lose my job if I told you people. No. Tell them those non-disclosure agreements are like a mile thick and an ironclad. If I'm like, oh, I'm in this, I would call within 2 seconds by Justin Cook going, you're fired. No. And there's a reason, because we like to tease you people. Time for one more question. You in the very, very, very back row who's had your hand up much of the time. Have ever been good friends with a fan? Why? I feel like I make new friends every time I come to a con. Many of my best friends are people at conventions, some of them fans, some of them staff. So yeah, I have become friends with fans before. There's money involved. Okay, one more question because that was quick. And you, darling, with the ears.
Why are there glasses?
Glasses, really? You may need those. What's your question, darling? Oh no, we see everything, so we have to match the animation. That's part of our skill set. So yes, we see everything. Everything.
Earthing?
I have to wrap it. I have to wrap it. All of you are beautiful. All of you are beautiful. I love you. This has been random for an hour. I have to run, so I can't sign your stage, but I'm doing autographs tomorrow. So please come to my autograph signing, and if you see me around the con.
Thank you for signing my picture.
What?
Thank you for signing my picture.
Oh, you're welcome, darling. Thank you all.